Hey, hi friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Cloud with Mohsin. I hope you all are doing wonderful. Friends, today we are going to continue our lessons with Terraform's basics. If you remember, we are these days working on Terraform with AWS, and we have a previous video, this one that I am referring to. Can you really automate AWS with Terraform in just 30 days? Okay, so I would recommend you to please watch this video so you will get started. It will be a good reference for you to join this video. Okay, so that would be really great if you could watch this and then come back to this video. Okay, so back to today's topic. Today we are going to see how we can install Terraform, configure AWS provider onto that, and probably we will also get started with a sample configuration or sample projects that we can start it. So before continuing with the discussion, let me take a moment to introduce myself. I am Mohsin Sheikh. I am running this channel. I'm two times AWS and two times Microsoft Azure certified professional with around 16 plus years of experience in IT under various domains. Okay, so that's quickly about me, and believe me, we will have a lot of fun. We'll learn some very good key concepts throughout this session. So please watch this video until the till the end. Now, the contents that we will be covering today is, first of all, we will recap what is Terraform. Then we will see how does it works basically. Once this is done, we will do the key concepts. Mainly, this will cover the basic things in Terraform that you should be knowing. Then we will start with the installation of the Terraform. This will be obviously as part of demo or lab, and we will start writing our first configuration. Followed by that, we will also see how to initialize and apply that configuration, and we will wrap up this session with a conclusion. Okay, I hope the agenda is very clear to you guys. Okay, so giving the first thing first, it's brief overview of Terraform. As I mentioned, you can always go and watch my previous video to get some learning. But just to recap, Terraform is an open source infrastructure as a code, in short called as IAC tool, and it has been created and developed by HashiCorp. Okay, so it uses HCL, that is HashiCorp configuration language that we had covered previously. The benefit of Terraform is we can leverage it for building, changing, and versioning infrastructure safely and efficiently. It allows users to define unprovisioned data center infrastructure using high-level configuration language. Okay, so just one thing for you to understand is Terraform is not just limited to the cloud. There are various providers that we can see in the upcoming slide, but we can also use Terraform for building infrastructure or deployment of the resources on the on-premises as well. Okay, now let's understand how does Terraform works. Okay, so Terraform creates and manages resources on cloud platforms and other services through their application programming interfaces, APIs. Providers enable Terraform to work with virtually any platform or service with an accessible API. Okay, so in short, as you can see in this diagram, this is the Terraform. Okay, the Terraform providers would be your cloud providers. This could be AWS or Azure or anything, and through this provider there will be a plugin that it basically uses, and at the backend there will be target API. So it uses a target API, and using that via the cloud provider plugins, that Terraform would basically work and deploy the resources, create resources, etc. Okay, so now take a look what are the key concepts. Okay, so before we can move with our journey in Terraform, these are the very key concept that you should be aware. Okay, first is providers. So what is a provider in Terraform? So providers are plugins that interact with APIs of various cloud providers. Okay, as I just mentioned, that could be your cloud providers like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud. It could be on-prem as well, anything. So okay, so this is called as providers. For resources, so resources are the components of your infrastructure. that are virtual machines, storage accounts, etc. Here I'll give you an example. Suppose you are going to use Terraform to deploy or create virtual machines in Azure cloud. So in this case, virtual machines will be referred to as resources here. Okay. Similarly, if it is going to create network or storage accounts or anything that you are going to create or destroy, that is referred to as resources. Now, what are the modules? Okay, so modules are usable configurations that can be shared and versions. Simply, I'll just explain it in a simple way. Suppose you have a configuration or a file in Terraform. This module is nothing but it is also a file. All these files will be in the .tf, that is Terraform format. Okay, so suppose you want to use that same set of file again and again. So instead of writing the code every time, you will refer it as a module, and you will use that as many times. There is no limitation, the number of times you can use. So it is called as modules. So it is the reusable configuration. It is a reusable files that we can use. For example, let me give you an example. Say VPC. If we want to create the VPC, okay, these kind of VPC is a virtual network. If we want to create the virtual network as many a times, so every time instead of writing the code for VPC, I'll rather create a module for that. There are some public module or private module that you can check out in the HashiCorp site. But this is called as this is referred to as module, so it can be reusable configuration. State, the name suggests, when we had covered this in our last video, the state file keeps track of resources managed by HashiCorp. Okay, so whenever we are creating resources, everything will be tracked under the state file. We can keep the state file locally on our machines, that laptops or desktop that we use, or we can store it on the remotely. For example, we can store the state file on the S3 bucket as well. Okay, so that configuration also can be done. Now, what about configuration file? So configuration file define the desired state of your infrastructure. Simply whatever resources we are going to create. Okay, so for example, if we want to launch, say, a load balancer, we will define the state of load balancer, everything. Or it is, see, Terraform basically it works as a declarative. It means it will give the what will be the end state, or the state of the particular component or resources. Okay, so that is called as a declarative language. So this is about configuration file. You can check out these things. You can go to Terraform, okay, and here you can check out what are different resources, what are modules, what are the different providers, etc., that you can check out from this Terraform. Okay, this is the website developer.hashicorp.com, and you can check out what are the if you want to understand what is Azure and all those things, it will be it will be available here. Now back to our PPT. Okay, now we need to install Terraform. So before going to start using Terraform for our configuration, see, in our case we will be deploying Terraform to use with AWS as a cloud provider. Okay, so we can install the Terraform installer from the HashiCorp URL, and it will be based on the operating system. That is, it could be Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, etc. Okay, let us go back to the site that we are referring to. Here you can click on install, and there are the operating systems. It's Mac OS, Windows, Linux, FreeBSD, OpenBSD, Solaris, and based on your requirement you can install. So in our case, it is I am using Windows 386. I can download it. Okay, so I can simply download it. Here you can see. And once downloaded, here you can, this is the installer file Terraform. So you can either right click and run it, or via command line, or via console as well. Okay, it's up to us. Okay, so that we can use. So I have already installed it, so I'm not going to do that. And in my Visual Studio Code. If I run Terraform version, I can see Terraform version is version V. You can see Terraform v 1.11.1. Okay, and it is using provider registry. So since it is using for AWS, this is the registry provider plugin. You can say it is using version v 5.90.0. Okay, so this is about Terraform, how you can install. So once this is installed, now you will ask, okay, see, you have downloaded based on the operating system, and then you have set it up. I would also suggest you please change the environment path, so that whichever the file, or wherever you have going to call it or refer it, it will be easy for you to understand or access that particular Terraform. Okay, for that you can simply go to here, environment path. Okay, you can refer this, edit the system's environment variables. Okay, and here inside that you can click on environment variables and path. This is something, in the path you can add a new path. Okay, so let me go inside this, and simply you can click a new, and here it will be the path where you have installed Terraform. So in my case it's there in this path I had added, and you can save it. Okay, so this is about the how you can set the environment variable. Now the next thing is, okay, how you can access the Terraform via or how it will do the handshake with your AWS account. For that, what I did is, there are plugins, you can say, or extensions on Visual Studio Code. So for those who are not aware, Visual Studio Code, this is kind of IDE we can use for our creating the files, or accessing files, etc. So it supports almost all the types of files. We can edit the files, we can so it's very good tool actually. So here you can click on extensions, and under extension you can select AWS CLI configure. That's what I did. Then once you do that, okay, here you can see it will open up this as a page. Okay, in that there is a option to authenticate. Okay, so this is very important, guys. See, there's an authenticate button similar to this in sign in to get started. So there are options. You can either provide URL of your home page, or you can provide the access key ID and or secret access key. Okay, so since this is command line interface, so I use I created a user ID. Probably I can show you in my AWS account. You can create a new user. For example, let me go to IAM user, go to users, and here I have created this TF admin as the new user. Okay, so create the user so that it will be having access key ID and secret access key. Okay, so it is like command line interface. It is not the console based access. Console access is not required, but it is more of the command line based. Okay, so it will give the access key ID and secret access key. You need to provide it here while you click on the sign in to get started, and here then it will show once every. Ensure you are providing the access key and secret access key properly. Now it will show me as connected with the profile. So here TF admin, as you can see, TF admin is the user ID that I had created for this exercise. Okay, so that is about quickly how you can configure your AWS account with Terraform. It should show connected, hence once it is connected, then it will do a formal handshake with your AWS account, and you can deploy the resources via Terraform. Okay, now back to PPT. Installation is done. Now the next thing is writing your first configuration. Okay, so this is sample configuration file. As we are referring to the key concept, here it is the resource. So here what we are going to do is, it is resource and AWS instance. So this thing, AWS underscore instance, will be provided by your HashiCorp. Okay, so From this way it will understand it is for AWS or Azure or so basically the resource will be provided by HashiCorp. Demo is just for our reference. So then here you can see I have provided AMI. So AMI is the Amazon machine image, that is ID, and instance type is t2.micro with the tags as name demo instance. So once we run this script or Terraform, what it will do is it will create a resource, that is AWS instance. Suppose if I had if the requirement was to create AWS VPC network, etc. In that case, we can check out for that. Okay. And if you have a question how to find what is the resource name, simple. The answer is you can always navigate to HashiCorp, and here you can find it. Okay. So here they had given a very good documentation, CDK or etc. Okay, test and debug and etc. So you can check this out. So even if you have anything related to resources or modules, everything, so it's a good idea to refer this site. Okay. uh, okay, you can check out this site for AWS resources. And then the tags, etc. We can give the tags for the identifier, and then we will run it. Okay. Oh, before running that, the important thing is there is requirements that we need to tell Terraform. See, we already configured with AWS and it knows, but here additionally we need to create a provider. Okay, so what provider will have is it will tell the provider will be AWS. We will use for AWS. I will opt the region as AP South 1 and access key ID and secret access key of my temporary user, that is TF admin. So that is about provider. Once the provider is done, then we need to create this file. Okay. So first thing is, before you can go, you can always, it's a good idea to click on Terraform init. So when we run the Terraform init, it will initialize the configuration. Okay. And you can say it will make it ready for deploying the resources, and it will be based on the our cloud provider. Now in this case you can see using previously installed HashiCorp slash AWS v5.90.0. Okay, so this is what it will initialize, and now onward we can go and start using the resources. Okay, the next thing after this would be, it will be Terraform plan. Okay, so if we run Terraform plan, so plan is just kind of preview. Okay, so it will not actually create the resources, but it will just see what are the things there. Okay, it will always check out the Terraform that state file. It will see the Terraform state file, as we already discussed. So it tracks the resources. Now what it shows, no changes, your infrastructure matches the configuration. Okay, this is because I have already deployed my EC2 instance via Terraform. Okay, so because of that I can show you the EC2 instance that has been deployed via Terraform. So this is the instance, demo instance, and this has been, you can see, demo instance, the tag, this has been deployed via Terraform. Now let's see what will happen if we stop the resource or instance manually, and how Terraform will see. We will then again run the plan file. Okay, so let me go back to console. I will just stop the resource. Okay, or yeah, let me just stop it. So as we mentioned, Terraform is a declarative. It will see the resources whenever we are mentioning. So those will be the end state or final state of the resources on the console. Okay. Now we have that is the EC2 instance is in stopped state. Now let's come back and see by running Terraform plan. Let's see how it detects. Yeah, again it says there are no changes, okay, because it's already there. Now what we will do is probably let's terminate this instance and then let's try to run it. Yeah, so now there is the instance has been terminated, means it does not exist, okay. And now we can see what Terraform plan will tell. Okay, now here you can see plan. It will tell 1 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. Okay, so if we scroll up, see this is the output. Terraform used the selected provider, that is AWS in this case, to generate the following execution plan. Resource actions are indicated with the following symbol. So plus, whenever you will see the plus as green plus green button, it will create the resource. For destroying, it will be a red colored mark, minus red, something like that. Okay, AWS instant demo will be created. So it says this is the AMI. Okay, so important is when you are doing this exercise, ensure AMI you are choosing is correct. Okay, where you will see the AMI is when you are going to launch the instance. Okay, based on your OS, you can suppose in our case it's Amazon Linux 2023 and this is the AMI ID that you can select. Okay, because if the AMI itself is incorrect, then it will give some error that AMI does not valid, something like that. Okay, so let me go back to the EC2 instance and there is nothing running. Okay, and see preview plan will be just, it will tell okay this created are these are the instances or resource will be created if we run apply. Okay, so there will be the next step would be run terraform apply. Now see again it's similar to plan, but additionally it will ask us to confirm that if we want to perform this action. So only yes will be allowed. If we enter anything else, it will not be allowed. Okay, and if I click on yes, even we can give the auto approval. There is a sub command to give the auto approval, and now it says it is creating. Now if I refresh this, you can see it has started creating the instance which is in pending state. Okay, so here we can see the status of the instance creation. So it will use the default values, okay, the default VPC, all those things. Even we have not declared it in the instance.tf file, that is this file, but it will consider the default setting that it will be public subnet, default VPC, okay, which has the internet gateway connected, everything. It will just consider that. Okay, and if we don't want to do that, we can create our VPC and specify that. Now it says apply complete resource added. Okay, zero change, zero destroyed. If something is to change, it will be declared like that, and if destroyed, then it will show like that. Now if I refresh this, you can see this instance is getting initialized. Okay, and again in the tags you can see this is the same instance that we have just launched for Terraform. So as I mentioned, it has used the default setting, that default VPC and all those things. Unless it's specifically mentioned, it will consider the default settings. Okay, so please note this. So it will initialize. Yeah. So next thing will be we need to destroy this. Okay, what will happen if we need to destroy this resource? Okay, so the command for that will be terraform destroy. Okay, so here see, since we have only one resource that is running terraform, it's not specifically required to mention. It should be, the resource name. Otherwise, there could be the situation that you don't want to destroy all the resources, but you need to retain few of the resources. In that case, you can specify uh, using the terraform destroy command which are the resources that you need to retain. Okay, or which are the resources that you need to destroy, and it will just destroy only those resources. Additionally, what you can do is you can hash out. Okay, suppose if this is the file, and in case it has let me just okay, before destruction, what we can do is in this file, let's do one thing. Let me add additional things. Resource, it will be is aws key pair. Suppose it is test key. Okay, or rather than key pair, we can create let's make it something like that. Okay, so suppose if we create additional resources, and if we want to return some of the specific resources, we can mention it or we can hash it. Okay, if we don't want them to get destroyed. I hope you are getting the point. Okay, now let's see if we run terraform destroy. Now it has started. It will say, do you really want to destroy all resources? It's similar to the apply. It will ask for the approval or confirmation. If we click on or enter yes, now it has started destroying. And if I refresh this, you can see it is now shutting down. After shutting down state, it will finally get into terminated status. So these are, see, whatever we did, it is just a basic exercise. Okay, you can try this out. And terraform is very vast. It has lots of things like variables. We can pass variables. Okay, we have some output related functions, some different arguments, different models, variable files, etc. So lots of it's very complicated, or or rather I can say not complicated, it's very deep. Okay, so you can check that out and you can exercise that. It's still destroying. Let's wait for a few more seconds. Yeah, it says destroy complete, resource 1 destroyed. Okay, so it has terminated. So I hope you got some idea. See, we use this script today, and these were command that we just seen. For initializing, we did use Terraform init, which initializes the project and downloads the required provider plugins. Okay, provider plugins, as we have seen. See, okay, for the destruction, you can see it will destroy the ones with the the little red minus mark will be destroyed. So it is everything that with these red colored marks will get destroyed as per it. Okay, okay, back to PPT. So Terraform plan, as we seen, it just previews the resources based on the configuration. Suppose if you don't have anything in your configuration. Okay, for example, let me go back to my instance file again. I can just simply do the hash out. Okay, let me just simply hash this. So hashing will ignore that. Okay, so it will see it and we need to save it. So now water in my instance file has been hashed out. Okay, now let's see if we try to run Terraform plan, what it shows. What it says, no changes. Okay, even there is configuration there, but it will see everything as ignored because of these hashing marks. Okay, so that is about that, about the plan. Then Terraform apply, it will actually create the resources based on the state file whatever we have mentioned in the configuration file and existing state. It will take the call. It will need approval, but we can always provide the auto approval so that it should not prompt or every time. Similarly, applying, we can provide Terraform destroy command, and which will actually destroy the resources created. Okay, friends, I hope you got the point. Okay, so Terraform is infrastructure as a code. We discuss about the various how Terraform works. Then we covered the key concepts like provider, resources, modules, okay, configuration files, state files, etc. And then we discuss how we can install Terraform. So it is from HashiCorp website. We can install it based on our OS, and then we need to configure it. Okay, so for configuration, that for the handshake to happen between your Terraform and cloud provider, so we need to provide credentials for that, and then we can practice some more on the sample scripts like this. So in the upcoming videos we will go more detail that having more complex scenarios and how Terraform will be useful in creating that. So friends, that's it for today. Okay, thank you so much for your time. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to my YouTube channel Cloud is Mohsin. And if you have any queries or any errors while doing this Terraform exercise or hands-on labs, just write me in the comment section. I'll be very happy to assist you with your queries. So thank you so much again friends, and happy weekends. Take care. Bye bye.